This is The Modern Leader Way.
The podcast for corporate career women who want to feel good on their way to the top. I'm Emma Clayton, and I'll be sharing with you tangible advice to help you stop sacrificing your soul in the name of success and experience more balance, confidence and fulfillment both in and out of work. Hello and welcome back to the Modern Leader Way podcast. I am coming at you today not with the topic that I thought I had planned for you. I actually received some sad news this morning. So I have been sitting with some high emotions, having heard that my uncle, who had been unwell, sadly passed away this morning in the early hours. So yeah, I've just wanted to take the time to have the conversations I needed to with my family, to check in with them, to check in with my own emotions, to be with the grief and the sadness, but also the fond memories and everything that comes up when something like this happens. And I've chosen to come on and talk about it because I feel potentially someone out there listening, maybe it's you, might get some comfort from hearing this. And if not, then it might be that you get activated to make some moves so that you don't experience any regrets or anything like that further down the line. So yeah, first of all, I wanted to just give a nod to, I think, some of the very raw emotions that come up when we lose someone is a lot of regret, right? Oh gosh, I should have made the effort. I should have made more effort to go and see him again. You know, that's very normal. And what I want to say to you is, if like we have these thoughts, right? We have them all the time. Oh, I must give such and such a call. I must phone so and so, or drop in on them, or send them something to tell them I'm thinking about them. And we might have the thought, but we might not do anything with that thought. Part of me wants to use this reminder today to say, go do the bloody thing. If you've had that thought recently about someone, or if there's just someone you want to text and say, I love you, do you know that? Do it. Please do it. Do it now. Don't waste another second. And I think we need to get into this like perspective of actually to live and to be human is to experience death and loss and grief. And life is short, right? And we get to enjoy it while it lasts and make the most of it and make something of it. And I think what makes life is the people in it, is the people we share it with, it's the people we share those moments with. And so if there is someone that you keep thinking about or that's popped into your mind as you're listening now, and you just want to send them that text or give them that call or call in on them, go freaking do it. Like, even if you have to stop me in my tracks now to go do the thing, please go do it, because we don't want any regrets, right? And we will have regrets as we move through life. But those little things, they don't need to be cause for regret because they're easy to action. And I think we know how good we feel when we do something like that for someone else. It works both ways, right? So the whole regret thing comes up. There's the resentments as well. Like, a lot of the time when we lose someone, there's things that went unsaid potentially. And I'm not even just talking about when we lose someone who passes away, who moves on, but someone potentially that we're no longer in our lives, right? I know I've got a couple of very, very good friends in the past who are now no longer in my life. And I had to grieve the loss of that friendship. And there were many resentments in there, many resentments. And I've had to not only forgive them for their part in it, but I've had to forgive myself for my part in it so that I can move on. Again, I think part of what I mean by the modern leader is the modern leader she's emotionally intelligent in that she can sit in her own emotions and she can be with and hold space for her own emotions, which may involve needing to be held in your emotions in the first place. Like for me, I used to suppress my emotions with food all the time. Feel an emotion coming up, eat food, push it down again. And you know what? That doesn't do anything other than just compound those emotions. They get bigger and bigger and bigger until you like burst and you can't hold them in any longer. Whereas over time, I have learnt through support, through therapy, through friends that are very good at holding that space, I've learnt to be comfortable with expressing emotion and actually being with my own emotion and not like cracking on and like just like bypassing anything that I'm feeling, right? Just by getting on with life. And that's one thing that I really stand firm on, is that modern leaders, they are emotionally intelligent in that sense, and it starts with their own emotions. Yes, we might be able to be with other people and listen to their emotions and support them and be with their tears and not feel uncomfortable, but how comfortable are we in our own emotions? Like, it really does start there. When you can be comfortable in your own emotions and expressing that and feeling it and allowing them to flow. Emotion is energy in motion. It wants to move. It doesn't want to be suppressed and shoved down. It makes us more emotionally intelligent. It makes us better able to handle other people's emotions and be with them and hold that space for them too. So, yeah, some big emotions coming up today. And, you know, it reminds us, I think, often of the people that we have lost in the past. And I'm kind of fortunate in that so far, touch wood, I've lost my grandparents, which you might expect by the time you get to my age. Um, and this is the first kind of person in my life that's in my close family that I have had to go through this process with. So I'm not very well versed with loss and with grief. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you about the 5 stages of grief, although I could. But there are people out there that are very, you know, able to hold you in your grief. If you can't find someone that can, then there are charities out there. I know someone that's just trained to be a grief counselor for a charity. So they are out there. If you ever need support, then go search for that or give me a shout and I'll see if I can just hold that space for you. I just really wanted to give a nod as well, because the regret that I had come up was not that I hadn't necessarily seen him more recently, because I have. And actually, I was really happy that I made a real effort to get the whole family together, the whole of my dad's side of family together, when my auntie was over from Australia in the summer. So my sister and her lot weren't going to come, and they surprised us by coming, which meant we were all together. Yeah, it was a special moment where a lot of healing happened. And yeah, I'm just so glad that that happened. And that was a big part of my doing, to make sure that we had a date in the diary for when she was back to all get together. So I'm happy that happened. I'm happy I saw him 5 or 6 weeks ago. My own biggest regret was that I didn't tell him something that had really impacted me. And he was the only one in our family. My granddad actually was self-employed, but my uncle was also self-employed, the only one in the family. Everyone else kind of got those jobs for life. So when I quit my job, I took redundancy and said I was going to start my own business. He was very supportive of me. And I remember going around there and having this conversation about my business. He was asking me lots of questions. What are you going to be doing? And, you know, it's kind of a new age kind of business, really. It's online, it's coaching people around the world. Like, it's not really something you can wrap your head around when you're a builder, for example. But he was very supportive. And I think I made a comment, and it was quite flippant. And it was something along the lines of, you know, I'll give it a go. I'll have a play with it, see how we get on. And he kind of gave me this real loving smackdown, where he was like, yeah, it's not going to work with that attitude. You have to be all in, because this is not an easy ride and it's going to take some blood, sweat, and tears. And so, are you all in or not? And it really struck me at the time. You know, when someone says something and it kind of hurts, it like touches on something, touches a nerve. And I could have like thrown my toys out the pram, but I didn't. I like really sat up and took note of like that reaction in me, because I thought, wow, it's really touched on something, because you've picked up on something very valid there. And I had to look at myself and go, yeah, I need to be more committed than I sounded to him. And I've had this thought in the last few months that I must tell him that actually that advice that he gave me on that day really struck a chord, and it stuck with me. And it's potentially why I'm still in the game 7 years on. And I wanted to thank him for it, and I didn't say that. So that is my regret. And I guess if you're listening, Uncle Ray, then I just want to say thank you for that. So yeah, if there is anything that you are sitting on wanting to tell someone that you love, please go do it. And if you are struggling with anything, with loss or with being in your emotions, then reach out. I would love to offer you some support, some guidance, some tools, some tips, or point you in the right direction of someone that I feel like could help you. Like I said, not my usual approach to an episode, but I felt like why not share where I'm at right now, because this is what it means to keep it real, right? It feels quite vulnerable to share that, and I think that's okay. I think I've been with my emotions enough today to process them, to get to the point now where I feel like I can talk to you about loss and the fact that it is a big part of our reality. And yeah, I will leave it there. We'll be back into the normal kind of swing of things for next week. Oh, I'm going to get into my health reclamation journey for sure. But for now, thank you for being here. Thank you for holding the space and listening to me as I process this myself. And if anything comes up for you off the back of this one, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I will be back next week. Thanks for listening. Take care.